So first step is to always do the symbols of each part of the compound. So the symbol for sodium is Na. The symbol for chlorine is Cl. Remember that "ide" ending always means element. So when you see an "ide", you always look for the element that's close to it. So chloride means chlorine. The other thing you always need to note is that the first element in a compound is always a positive oxidation number. The second is always a negative. When we look them up, we see that sodium is +1 and chlorine is -1. So since those oxidation numbers add to 0, the rule is you simply put the two together. So that would be NaCl, sodium chloride. So there's no space there. So in this one again, we've got magnesium and carbonate. Remember, the 8 is always a sign that you have a polyatomic ion. So magnesium symbol is Mg. Carbonate, if you look it up on your list, carbonate's polyatomic, that's CO3, and it has a -2. We know that magnesium is the first one, so it's going to be plus. We look it up, it's going to be +2. And again, since they add to 0, the oxidation numbers just cancel out, and you just simply put the two together. So you have Mg, CO3, no space. You have a box around it. On this one, we have potassium and chloride. Remember, the "ide" ending means element, so the symbol for potassium is K. The symbol for chlorine is Cl. We know that potassium is going to be plus because it's first. Chlorine is going to be minus because it's second. We look them up on our chart. It's +1, -1. The two add to 0, so you just put them together. KCl. You gotta turn on. On this one, we have zinc, which is Zn. And then we have hydroxide. Now hydroxide is a little bit of a tricky one because that "ide" would probably try to tell you that it's an element, but this is an exception to that rule. We know that hydroxide from our polyatomic list is OH -1. Zinc is +2. Now here, they don't add to 0. You got +2, -1 do not add to 0. So what we have to do is cross. And I'm only going to take the number. The 2 is going to come down here. The 1 will come down here. So that says that I have Zn1. Now I never write the number 1 in chemistry. The symbol counts as 1. Then I have OH with a 2 after it. But here's the trick with polyatomics. That 2 means I have 2 hydrogens and 2 oxygens. I've got to have 2 OH groups. So to do that, I've got to put it in parentheses. So whenever if a cross happens with a polyatomic, like this case, if that number is greater than 1, it has to go in parentheses. So ZnOH 2. And the last one we have here is 10 Roman numeral 4 chloride. Again, the "ide" ending is going to give you a signal that you have an element. So we're going to look up 10, and we know it's plus. But on your chart, it could be +2 or +4. The Roman numeral tells you what it is. It's +4. 4 means 4. Chloride means the element chlorine. We know that that's -1. So now we have a situation again where they don't add to 0. So we're going to have to do a cross. So the 4 comes down here behind the chlorine. The 1 is going to come over here behind the 10. So now I have Sn with a 1. I don't ever write 1s. Cl with a 4 after it. And since chlorine is an element, not polyatomic ion, the 4 you don't need to put it in parentheses. It just stays the way it is. So 10,4 chloride is SnCl4. Means it has 1 atom of tin to 4 atoms of chlorine.